Bedtime was supposed to be a happy memory for a tired child. For me, it was no different than a nightmare. Although some children complain about going to bed without being able to watch TV or play games, the night was a complete nightmare for me. It is still in the back of my mind. As someone who studied physics, I cannot fully explain what happened to me, but I can say that I felt exactly the fear. It was the biggest fear I have ever felt in my life. Nothing can equal it. Now I will tell you as much as I can. I don't remember exactly when it started, but I think my anxiety about falling asleep started when I had my own room. I was 8 years old at the time, and until then, I was sharing a room with my older brother. Since he is 5 years older than me, he asked for his own room and I was given the room at the back of the house. It was a small, narrow room. There was just enough room for a bed and a few small drawers. I wasn't complaining because I knew we didn't have a large house even at that age. My family loved me and I had a good childhood. My brother was given a new bed. I was sleeping in the bunk bed we used to share. Even though I was a little afraid of sleeping on my own, the idea of sleeping on the top bunk excited me. A strange uneasiness was crawling behind my memory from the very first night. I sat up in bed and looked at my toys scattered on the green carpet below. While looking at my toys, my eyes were wandering to the bunk bed below. It was as if something was trying to escape my attention. When I realized that there was nothing in the lower bunk bed, I pulled my quilt over me and slept with the confidence of watching the television that my father watched from below. When you wake up from a deep sleep to see something moving, it takes a few seconds to realize what it is. When the fog of sleep lifts, everything becomes clear. Something was moving, there was no doubt about it. At first, I didn't understand what was happening. Everything was dark, almost pitch black. Two thoughts immediately came to my mind. The first was that my parents were in their beds because there was no sound or light. My second thought turned into a sound, the sound that woke me up. As the last sleep nets in my mind faded away, the voice became recognizable. The bed beneath me creaked. It was as if someone was searching for a comfortable position. Was the sound something I imagined? Or was my cat trying to lie down on the bed? At that moment, I looked at my door, and the door was closed. Maybe my cat came in when my mom opened the door to check on me. Yes, it had to be like that. I turned my face to the wall and tried to sleep. As soon as I turned, the sound below stopped. I guess I had disturbed my cat, but I quickly realized that the visitor below was something more insidious than my cat. The thing below suddenly started spinning around in the bed like crazy, as if someone was having a tantrum. Fear gripped me. My eyes opened with fear and started to get wet. I cried. I called my mother, as every little child does. There was movement at the other end of the house. After I screamed, the thing below turned crazy and shook the bed as if there was an earthquake. I chose to stay in my bed instead of going down. It seemed like an eternity to wait for them. The door finally opened. Meanwhile, the bed below was completely empty. While I was crying, my mother was trying to calm me down. I couldn't tell my mother why I was afraid because of fear. I had a feeling that if I talked about her, she would come back. My mother lay down on the bed below and said she would stay there until the morning, but I could hardly sleep at night. The next morning, I wanted to go anywhere except that room. It was a Saturday morning. I was playing with my friends in the garden. There were many bushes and tall trees in the garden, so we felt like we were having an adventure on an exotic island. While I was playing with my friends, my eyes fell on my room window. It was as if he was watching me in the mornings. When I was left alone at night, he would get angry and give me nightmares. It may seem strange to you, but I didn't object when they took me back to the room. I didn't have any evidence anyway. I climbed into my bunk bed upstairs and went to bed. While I was lying motionless at night because of fear, my heartbeat suddenly accelerated. I heard crackling noises from below. This time, a thought began to wander in my mind. Ghost. After a while, the crackling sounds below gave way to breathing. I could imagine his chest rising and falling. The house was quiet again. Breathing continued. I wanted him to leave. I wanted him to leave me alone. I was lying there silently. What did she want?